Hello students and welcome to Stadio. As you know, you've enrolled in Stadio, Faculty of Education and Humanities, and of course this is the School of Education. My name is Dr. Hanu Prince and I will be your lecturer for this module. I will be your lecturer for teaching life orientation in the further education and training phase. This is part one of a two-part lecture. And in this first part one, I'm hoping to just give you an overview of the structure of this module that you enrolled for. And in the next lecture, we'll be looking a little bit more closer at your actual module content. This is teaching life orientation in the FET phase, so it's normally grade 10 to 12 students, and they are generally between the ages of 15, 16 to 18 years of age. This, of course, is a module in the Stadio Faculty of Education and Humanities in the School of Education. And then the module code, just so you get to know it, is TLOF701. So I'm hoping to give an introduction and overview of this module. And there it is again, just to make sure that you get to know all the jargon and all the abbreviations teaching life orientation in the FET phase. So you are watching this video via Education Connect and Interact, or as we refer to it, ECI, also known as our Moodle site. Moodle is the software that we're using to do this. But you might be watching this video actually on YouTube, having followed a link to YouTube via ECI. At this point, I just want to sort of share with you the first important thing is to please complete the short ECI involvement tracker after each learning event as we progress through the units in this module. And there is, as I'll be sharing a little bit later, there are units 1 to 3 in this module in this first semester. The ECI task and content will support the development of your understanding of the teaching of life orientation in the FET phase, and it will definitely enhance your teaching skills. Also, what I will make available to you as we go through the course and that you can download is what I'm calling a module outline and pacer. It's to help you prepare for your lectures and tests and assessment tasks preparation. Yeah, just a short document to give you an overview, but obviously watching this video will also do the same. Right, so let's take a look at the basic structure of this module. In semester 1, we've already said it consists of 3 units. What is important maybe to understand and to realize, each unit will consist of 5 learning events, right? So 15, actually 16 in total at the end, but 5 learning events per unit. All learning events in this module will of course happen via the ECI page for the module. After each learning event, you will be asked to complete a participation tracker to demonstrate your involvement with the learning event and understanding of the concepts associated with that particular learning event. There will be a total of 15 participation trackers, or PTs, in the first semester. There will also be at least 2 assignments and 2 online tests that you will have to engage with as part of assessment. But in our live lectures, I will give a bit more clarity on the assessment and the assignments. And of course, then you will be welcome to ask some questions. The number of assessments in this module is subject to change, however, so just note that. Right, so these learning events will basically run 1 per week from the beginning, from 10 February onward. This is basically the very first one. The The learning events will take place in any one of three formats. So I've already referred to live lectures. So a live face-to-face lecture, or we just abbreviate it with F2F sometimes, which you can attend at your nearest campus or at your learning center. Or you can also opt to stream the lecture to your PC, which we hope will make it much easier for you. And these lectures will also be recorded, so you can re-watch them, or maybe if you missed them, watch them a little bit later at your own convenience. So that should really make life easier, especially for those of you that are working students. The second format would be a pre-recorded or canned lecture. So this is basically what you're watching now. It's created by your TLO lecturer, and it will be placed on ECI for you to watch and then engage with some learning tasks afterwards on ECI. So after watching this video and the next one, there will be a task for you on ECI to complete, normally just a few short questions. The third type of learning event will be a series of tasks placed on ECI, and these will systematically lead you through the content and concepts related to the units or the concepts for that particular week. These tasks might consist of a variety of videos and documents and readings to engage with. And at the end of each of those learning events, there will be a few short questions to complete. And as I've mentioned, these are called participation trackers. And they will make up a portion of your overall mark. So it's very important to engage with those. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on those marks. Basically, the idea is 1% per participation tracker that you engage with and complete. There they are, I've mentioned them. The format they can take might vary, but they are basically short questions to engage with on ECI. And the hope is that these questions will give you an opportunity to reflect and gain immediate feedback on your knowledge and understanding developed during the learning events, whatever shape it might take. There will be a total of 15, one per week, as already mentioned. Then, of course, assignments, you might be quite familiar with these. They are longer learning tasks aimed at developing knowledge, understanding, and application of the content and concepts related to the module, and will call for substantial reading, participation, and planning. And the idea, especially in the case of a module like TLO, you guys might also be asked to work collaboratively as a learning pair or small group. So just watch out for the information around that. I'll be sharing once again in the face-to-face lecture, and there will be a briefing about this, but also important to read the information available on ECI. Right, and then last but not least, the good news is we're quite familiar with these questions. It's an online test that I want you to engage with. Questions take the form of more conventional time testing examination questions, and students will respond online on the ECI page or site. And they, as we know, can be a range of shorter and or longer questions. You might also be asked to download, respond, and upload a particular task. And of course, this is within a specific time frame that will be communicated to you. Right, so as mentioned before, in Unit 1, there will be 5 learning events. So in TLOF Unit 1, there will be 1 pre-recorded lecture. And this is part 1 of that lecture. And I've already asked you to, after this lecture, please watch part 2, also via the ECI page. And this is giving an introduction and overview of teaching LO in the FET phase. And then there will also be next week and the coming weeks, there will be 3 live face-to-face lectures and 1 learning event consisting only of ECI tasks to be completed, which gives you the total of 5 learning events for Unit 1. of the 3 that we will be doing. Also very important, your 2 prescribed textbooks. You have ordered them via Wise Books and they should be either on their way to you or maybe they've already arrived by the time you watch this. That's actually what I'm hoping for. Just a little bit about these 2 texts as a background. The first one, the editor is Mirna Nel. It's called Life Orientation for South African Teachers. So you'll see me maybe during lectures or in videos referring to Nel. It's available, published by Van Skyk. It's a 2018 work. And then the second one is, the editor of that one is Elmarie van Heerden Pieterse. Life Skills, My Journey, My Destiny. It's a second edition as well, also available from Van Skyk's 2015. So the reason for the 2 books, you would see the Nel copy would actually unpack for us a little bit more around the actual methodology and didactics, the theoretical background, in other words, of the teaching of life skills. So a very worthwhile in-depth look at the teaching of life orientation and life skills in South Africa. And then specifically also aimed at facilitating understanding of the CAPS document, our curriculum document we'll be looking at next. And then the idea would be the Elmarie van Heerden Pieterse work, The Life Skills, My Journey, My Destiny, is a much more practical book and actually unpacks beautifully all the various life skills there are. It's also very generic in terms of different levels of learners. I've personally used this book with, or the information in it rather, with grade 8s and grade 9s, even grade 12s. And actually, originally, my understanding is that it was aimed at developing life skills for first-year students at university level, but I would definitely say a lot of good information for all people to engage with. And it covers a wide range of life skills and explains those really well. So obviously the idea is for that Van Heerden Pieterse book, or to give some content for you that you can actually implement in the school's situation, and obviously guided by the CAPS documentation. Whilst the Nel version really will help you conceptualize and understand the subject that much better, and also give you some theoretical background that you can use to guide your decision making as you teach life orientation in the FET phase. Right, so almost done, but what I want to do is just give you a brief overview of the units 1 to 3 of TLOF701. And so the idea is that you use the following breakdown of prescribed reading per unit to pace and guide you in your preparation for each learning event. To get an idea beforehand, before a lecture or before learning events, or before maybe even while you're engaging with ECI, what content is actually covered in that section. So in Unit 1, the title of Unit 1, An Introduction to Teaching Life Orientation and Getting to Know Important Policies. There we'll be looking at the prescribed reading. So now that I've just been speaking about pages, so very interesting thoughts and ideas about the purpose of life orientation. It's page 1 to 5, and then also not the whole chapter, but just 3 pages of it. Chapter 12, it's just titled Life Skills, page 197 to 200. And then at the same time, Van Heerden Pieterse, Introduction, page 5 to 6, as well as chapter 6, page 56 to 67, and it's titled Your Best Travel Companion. And then, of course, our big focus for this unit is the CAPS document, Curriculum Assessment Policy Statement. It's for the FET phase, of course, and the focus there will be on page 1 to 10, because that will give you a good insight and understanding of where we are coming from when we're talking about life skills and life orientation. And then, of course, page 11 to 32, equally important, especially for practicing teachers. It's a bit of a pace setter around, or a pace setter that will indicate to teachers in terms of a timeline what topics they need to teach, and it's much more specific. But the focus for this module, page 1 to 10. And then, of course, there will be short readings and videos, and they will be indicated on ECI for you to engage with, watch, form opinions around, respond to. And then one of those would be the SAQA critical cross-field and developmental outcomes, and more about those in the part 2 of this lecture. In unit 2, it's going to be all about promoting health or healthy individuals, schools and communities in South Africa. So as we will see, life orientation is really about facilitating healthy and effective development. And sometimes those two ideas, although they might seem very similar, we do things that we deem effective, but then in the end turns out not to be healthy. I suppose the same would go. We could do healthy behaviors and in the end not be effective. So it's finding sort of that balance. So in Unit 2, Unit 2.1, it's about health promotion in South African schools. And of course, you will find this in NEL, Chapter 13. And the pages are indicated there. And then also in Unit 2.2, a model for health or healthy living. And that's NEL Chapter 14, page 227 to 241. So you will notice none of these readings are really long. It's just important that you actually engage with them. All the various little pieces will make up to all the content of the course. And then, like I already alluded to, the Van Heerden-Pieterse book is really for you to decide, and actually various chapters would be applicable to promoting healthy individuals, schools and communities in South Africa. But the one of particular interest in this case would be Chapter 8 that speaks directly to healthy living. And you'll find that on page 85 to 113. Then Unit 3 is really when we get into the meat and potatoes of this course, so to speak. It is about approaches and strategies of teaching life orientation in the FET phase. So this would entail the prescribed readings. Unit 3.1 will be the pedagogy of life orientation and the facilitation of life skills. That's in NEL Chapter 2. Unit 3.2, teaching and learning for democracy and human rights in the life orientation curriculum. That's NEL Chapter 8. And then Unit 3.3, teaching and learning for democracy and human rights in the life orientation curriculum, with this particular focus then on experiential and dialogical learning methodologies, which I have a lot of experience of and that I'm very excited to be sharing with you guys, and I'm looking forward to that. There is also then, of course, once again, in Van Heerden-Pieterse, additional prescribed reading, 7 interpersonal, sorry, that would be Chapter 7, interpersonal relationships that work, page 68 to 83. And when we get there, I will explain to you how these are linked. Maybe it's obvious, but maybe not. We will definitely discuss the link between interpersonal relationships and this idea of experiential dialogical learning methodologies. Right, thank you. This is then the end of this lecture part 1. And after watching this, I would please like you to go to the next section of your ECI page to watch part 2, and it will be an introduction to teaching life orientation and the CAPS document. And the CAPS, we just speak about CAPS. You also, when you go to the schools and you observe the teachers, you will hear them speak about CAPS. But it's really an acronym. It stands for Curriculum and Assessment Policy Statement. All right, thank you very much for watching.